Hello YouTube, I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and on this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answer they need from an employment attorney. But not today. Today we're talking about the EEOC statistics, which they finally put out for calendar year 2023. And these statistics lay out the case for the amazing work the EEOC is doing, which, if you're a longtime viewer of this channel, you may know I don't fully agree. I think the EEOC often, if you're not represented at least, presents more of an obstacle to your workplace discrimination or workplace sexual harassment case than an actual ally. But that being said, we're getting into the statistics that they set out themselves. And in my last video, I said that they didn't actually report how many mediations they performed in 2023. That was a lie. Yeah, I didn't mean it as a lie. I just didn't know. But now I found the number, so I'm going to report it. Of the 81,055 new discrimination charges the EEOC received in 2023, they report that they held 7,471 mediations. Now, I have a question, because they use the phrase conducting 7,471 successful mediations. And my question is, are they saying a successful mediation is only when the case is resolved, or when the mediation is successfully held and attended by both parties? And I don't know. But I do have an interesting bit of additional data. In those 7,471 mediations, assuming all of them paid out, assuming that they're only saying a mediation is successful, that a mediation is successful when it resolves the case, well, they resulted in $201.2 million in benefits for the charging parties. Now, if we assume all of those 7,471 charging parties and those 7,471 mediations got paid, then we could, in the stupidest math of all time, say that the average payment was around $27,000. That's not great. It used to be closer to 40,000, if I remember correctly. Now, obviously that's not how this works, right? Some of those mediations put up big numbers. Some of those charging parties got fat checks. Others got very small amounts, like $2,000, $2,500. And it's because not all cases are created equal. So when we say that everybody got around $27,000, that's not accurate, right? That's just not the truth of the matter. We're taking an average, and that average is not representative of what the individuals might hope to achieve, right? But it is still an interesting data point. And I think it's especially interesting because a lot of folks, a lot of law firms in this field will tell you that you don't need an attorney for the EEOC. But at the point where the average result is $27,000 in a successful mediation at the EEOC, in a field that provides for economic damages, emotional damages, and potentially even punitive damages, in a field where we're adjudicating hate crimes and horrific sexual assaults, I'm going to go ahead and say something's gone awry. That's not enough. It's not enough. And I understand. I acknowledge that some of these cases received far more. But I just don't think that average is high enough, especially when I recall that average used to be closer to 40 grand. And I did not think 40 grand was a high enough average. I frankly do not think 90 grand is a high enough average. But let's acknowledge for a moment that no one really cares what I think, except the people I'm specifically litigating against, because I'm a thorn in their side. So they might care a little bit, at least enough to hope to figure out which way I'm going to jump next, right? But beyond those folks, I'm universally derided, and no one cares what I think about how the EEOC should be run. Fine, fair enough. Fair enough. But then, if I can't change the EEOC, what can I change? Well, I can urge people and law firms to get representation at the EEOC or provide representation at the EEOC level, right? And immediately, people are going to say, Vince, you're just trying to get people to hire you to handle EEOC. Yeah, sort of. But here's the thing, and I said this yesterday too in yesterday's video. I spend tens of hours per year urging the people who watch this channel not to hire our firm. Right? We're a national firm. We're flying attorneys around the country, handling cases in all 50 states. That's great if your local options are not really sufficient to your need. That's what we exist for. But a lot of places in this country have really good local employment attorney options. And where you have good local employment attorney options, I would urge you certainly shop them first and probably hire them if they're good. Use our Find a Local Employment Attorney playlist, and then use our Evaluate a Local Employment Attorney playlist to obtain local representation. I'm sure you can understand the economics of the fact that they're not flying attorneys around the country. They're not paying for first class. They're not putting people up in hotels for weeks at a time to do federal trials. They're not paying for local counsel, right? Like, there's a lot of things the local attorney doesn't have to pay for. They're already there. They're there, right? So when you say, Vince, you're just trying to get people to hire you for the EEOC, not really. I'm actually trying to get you to hire local counsel for the EEOC. So as much as you want to deride my profit motive for this advice, it doesn't really work. It just doesn't. It doesn't fit. You should have an attorney for your EEOC. It's not that you're dumb. It's not that you can't do this. It's that this is probably the first time you've ever done this. And hiring someone who does this for a living, who has hundreds or thousands of repetitions at this, is a tremendous advantage. It just is. No one's mocking your capabilities. No one's saying you can't figure it out. But I am very much saying you will reduce the risk present in your case and potentially increase the value of your claims if you hire experienced representation. It is just that simple. There's nothing... you can try to argue. And so many do. But the fact of the matter is, the data speaks for itself, as reported by the EEOC itself. Go get an attorney. If I had a family member who had a case, and I have, I would just get them an attorney. Not anyone from my firm, because I don't want to represent family. That's an act of self-loathing. But I would certainly say you need an attorney. Let me help you. Right? And I think you would too. So if you would help your family in that way, perhaps follow your own advice. Just a thought. Just food for thought. Okay? If this was helpful, like, subscribe, comment down below. Share our channel so it may grow. Take care, everybody.